Imagine this. You are sitting across the table from your biggest supplier. He has just told you that unless you accept a 15% price hike, he will stop supplying. Your entire operation depends on him. You can feel the pressure building in your chest. Now imagine you had a set of tools, not tricks, not manipulation. A science-backed system developed by a man who spent his career negotiating for human lives. That is exactly what Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss gives you. And once you read it, you will never look at a difficult conversation the same way again. Hi, this is Rahul, and you are watching Books I Read, where I share books that help us lead better at work, in the kitchen, in business, and at home. Today's book is Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as if your life depended on it, written by a former lead international kidnapping negotiator who is now one of the most sought-after negotiation coaches in the world. The book has one central argument: the way we were taught to negotiate, splitting the difference, meeting in the middle, being rational is fundamentally wrong, and the tools that work in hostage situations work just as well in your vendor meetings, salary talks, franchise deals, and even difficult family conversations. In India, negotiation is in our DNA. We negotiate for everything, from vegetables at the sabzi mandi to multi-crore contracts, but most of us do it on instinct, emotion, and ego. We either cave too fast because we want to avoid conflict, or we dig in hard and damage the relationship. The result? We leave money on the table, or we lose the partner entirely. This book gives you a structured, repeatable approach that respects the relationship while still getting you a better outcome. It is not about being clever, it is about being calibrated. And that is something every Indian business leader, chef, and entrepreneur needs. The biggest mistake most of us make in negotiations is leading with logic. We prepare our facts, our data, our rationale, and then we wonder why the other person is not being reasonable. Chris Voss's core insight, backed by neuroscience, is this: before people can think logically, they need to feel heard. When someone feels unheard, their brain goes into a threat response. They stop processing your logic. They just want to win against you. The very first skill in this book is called tactical empathy. It is the ability to recognize and acknowledge the emotions on the other side, not to agree with them, but to show that you understand them. Here is an Indian example. Your head chef comes to you and says he is resigning because you did not promote him. The wrong approach is to say, I have explained the budgets 3 times. This is not the right time. He will feel dismissed, the wall goes up, and he walks out. The tactical empathy approach is to say, it seems like you have been putting in a lot and are genuinely frustrated that it has not been recognized yet. And that is completely understandable. You have not agreed to promote him, you have not lied, but you have opened the door for a real conversation instead of a resignation letter. The book introduces 2 deceptively simple tools that completely change the dynamic of any difficult conversation. The first is mirroring. Mirroring is simply repeating the last 2 or 3 words the other person said in a slightly curious upward tone. That is it. It sounds too simple to work. It absolutely does. It signals deep listening and makes the other person expand on what they are saying, often revealing information you would never have got by asking a direct question. Here is a vendor meeting example. The supplier says, I cannot hold that price after March because my raw material costs are going up. You say your raw material costs are going up. The supplier then says, yes. The packaging material specifically has gone up 18%, and on top of that, the transport charges from our factory side. Now he is explaining his constraints to you without you interrogating him. You understand exactly where there is room and where there is none, all from repeating 4 words. The second tool is the difference between that's right and you're right. Your right means, okay, I will stop arguing. It signals submission. That's right means you have perfectly understood and articulated my position. It signals genuine understanding. Your goal in the first part of any negotiation is to listen, summarize, and paraphrase so accurately that the other person says, that's right. Once they say that, trust is built, walls come down, and real problem solving can begin. In a franchise performance review, instead of launching into your numbers are below target, first summarize what the franchise owner has shared. So, what I am hearing is you had a difficult quarter because of the road construction outside, your key manager left, and the new hire took longer than expected to settle, and that has all compounded and pulled the numbers down. If he says that's right, you have just set up a collaborative problem solving conversation, not a blame game. One of the most powerful chapters in this book is about questions. Specifically, Chris Voss says, never ask why. Always ask how or what. Why puts people on the defensive. It sounds like an accusation. How and what are genuinely curious and open-ended, and they make the other person do the thinking and problem solving for you. These are called calibrated questions. They are not random. They are chosen carefully to make the other side feel heard, think deeply, and often talk themselves into a better position for you. Here are some examples you can use from tomorrow. How am I supposed to do that? What would you need to make this work? How does this affect the rest of the team? What happens to your operation if we cannot find a solution here? For a vendor negotiation, instead of asking, why is your price so high, which sounds like an attack, use this. How are you expecting us to manage this increase when our own selling price is fixed? This shifts the problem back to them. They now have to think about your constraints, not just defend their own. And for a team conversation, instead of asking, why are you always late? Use this. What is making it difficult for you to be here on time consistently? One question opens a real conversation, the other closes it. Two more tools in this book that seem counterintuitive but are game-changing for the Indian context. The first is the accusation audit. Before you make a big ask or deliver difficult news, list out loud every negative thing the other person is probably already thinking about you or the situation. This sounds strange. Why would you say bad things about yourself? Because when you name their fears out loud, they lose their power. The other person stops bracing for an attack and relaxes. Here is an example. You need to tell your team that salaries will be delayed by 10 days because of a cash flow issue. Instead of jumping into the explanation, start with this. I know this is going to sound terrible. You are probably thinking this is a management failure, that we did not plan properly, and that this will happen again. I completely understand why you would feel that way. Then explain the actual situation. By naming their internal dialogue first, you show self-awareness and respect, and the message lands very differently than a cold announcement. The second tool is understanding that no is not the end, it is the beginning. We are trained to fear no and chase yes. But a no gives you information. It means not like this, not in this form, not under these conditions. So when someone says no, instead of retreating or pushing harder, ask a calibrated question. What is it about this that does not work for you? Or simply, it seems like there is something here you are not comfortable with. What is it? In India, where direct refusals are often avoided, a hesitant I will see or a vague it is a bit difficult is often a no in progress. Calibrated questions help you get to the real objection faster and more respectfully. The fifth big idea is the Ackerman model, and this is the most practically actionable part of the book for anyone doing commercial negotiations, vendor deals, salary discussions, franchise fee structures, equipment purchases. The Ackerman model gives you a precise formula for making and receiving offers. Step 1. Set your target price as your anchor in your mind. Step 2. Open at 65% of your target. Step 3. Move in 3 calculated increments to 85%, then 95%, then 100%. Step 4. Use calibrated questions and empathy throughout, not just logic. Step 5, and this is the one most people miss, on your final number, use a very specific non-round figure. Not 10 lakh, but 9 lakh 87,000. Specific numbers feel calculated and anchored, not arbitrary. They signal that you have done your homework. Here is a kitchen equipment example. You know, fair market price is around 8 lakh rupees. You open at 5.2 lakh, which is 65%. The supplier counters, you move to 6.8, then 7.6, and your final offer is 7 lakh 94,000. Combine that odd number with tactical empathy, saying, I understand you have your own costs here, with a calibrated question. How am I supposed to justify this number to my management? And with an accusation audit, I know you are probably thinking, we are just squeezing you. And that is not the intent. And you have a complete negotiation system, not just a price war. Here are 3 small experiments you can run starting tomorrow. 1. Practice mirroring in your next one-on-one. In your next team conversation, pick one moment where instead of responding, you simply mirror the last 2 or 3 words the other person said in a curious tone. Notice how they expand, clarify, and often solve their own problem without you saying anything yet. 2. Run an accusation audit before your next tough talk. Before delivering difficult feedback, bad news, or a big ask, write down every fear or complaint the other person might have in their head. Then name at least 2 of them out loud at the start of the conversation. Watch the energy in the room shift immediately. 3. Replace 1. Why question with a what or how question. This week, every time you are about to ask, why is this not done? Stop and reframe it. What got in the way of this being done? How can we make sure this is handled differently next time? The answers you get will be more honest, more useful, and far less defensive. Pick up Never Split the Difference if you handle vendor negotiations, salary appraisals, or franchise commercial discussions, and often end up accepting terms you did not want. Read it if you manage people and need to have difficult conversations about performance, behavior, or role changes without damaging the relationship. Read it if you are in a leadership role, in a family business or hospitality, where emotion, hierarchy, and relationships all intersect in every tough conversation. Basically, if you ever need someone to do something, say yes to something, or change something without force or manipulation, this book is for you. My quick rating for books I read: Practical Tools, 5 out of 5. Every technique is named, memorable, and usable the very next day. Storytelling and examples, 5 out of 5. The hostage negotiation stories alone are worth the read. They are gripping and unforgettable. India relevance, 4 out of 5. Mostly Western stories, but every single principle translates effortlessly to vendor talks, appraisals, and franchise negotiations in our context. Reread value, 5 out of 5. Reread this before any high-stakes negotiation, whether it is a supplier, an investor, or an appraisal. It pays for itself every single time. If this episode of Books I Read on Never Split the Difference helped you, do like, share, and subscribe, and send it to one person in your team or business who is walking into a tough negotiation and does not know what to do. Tell me in the comments, which technique are you going to try first? Mirroring, calibrated questions, or the accusation audit? And which conversation are you using it in? Vendor, team, boss, or family? Drop your book recommendations in the comments too, especially books around leadership, communication, and building strong businesses in the world of food. This is Rahul. See you in the next one.